Original gunslinger. Hey yo, brave boy. You take this for toy. Me not play them games, boy. Hey yo, right now. PvP. Hey yo, yo. If a player wanna start me, stepping on the map, your whole team wanna war me. Bring our next level. You're not a challenge, your skills just pour me. When I pull out my RPG, spit out 16s like a SMG. Yeah. Game boy, you can't test me. I'm one of you, don't impress me. Hey, I get you triggered. I got you triggered. I got you triggered. I got you triggered. You triggered. You surrounded right now. My team versus your team. We got you cornered. We got you triggered. Yeah. Them go on, them go on, them go on me. They say you and your team coming for me. Them go on, them go on, them go on me. Better fall back, I'm gonna bring me army. Got you one-on-one. PvP. Knock you out the game. You can't test me. Say right now, me are the MVP. I got you triggered, you can't test me. I get you triggered. I got you triggered. I got you triggered. I got you triggered. I got you triggered.
You ever get the feeling that everything in America is completely fucked up? You know that feeling that the whole country is like 1 inch away from saying, that's it, forget it.
All right, everybody. So I'm kind of glad to see over in chat that I'm not the only one that was kind of excited to hear this news. I know that that sounds really fucked up to some of you that might be tuning in, but Ruth Ginsburg, she's finally gone. Now, this is the difficult part for me. She's gone. That's cool, right? But who takes her place? And that's where things get annoying. Honestly, I don't give a shit. They're all pieces of crap. All right? Like anybody that you put in that position from this point on, like back in the day, it probably wasn't so bad. But from like this point forward, you just know you're getting like the slimiest character to take over these positions, right? So that's where we are. And then it has to happen during election season, like that on top of it. I actually might have some news that Trump is probably going to try to rush somebody through. It sounded like the Senate was going to try to rush somebody through. So maybe we won't hear it all election season, but either way, this is going to be a huge topic moving forward. Get ready to just hear about it nonstop. We do have some news because Cruz, laugh my ass off. Are you talking about Ted Cruz being on Trump's list? I'm Ted Cruz! Yay! I'm gonna rule America! Fucking great. That or, Tom Cotton was on the list. He's probably pretty young to take that seat, but we'll see what happens there. Give me just a second to get out of something. Now, before we get into that news, I actually wanted to talk about I've got an article pulled up. It's from a couple days ago, but we've got the military confirming that it sought information on using heat rays against DC protesters. So, we're going to get into that news here momentarily. I just want to let you guys know, like, we'll talk about the whole Ruth thing. If you want, like, everybody just go take a shot, grab a beer, whatever you want. I don't mind you celebrating this news. That's totally cool with me because that lady was slimy. Yeah, and we won't harp on it too long, so I'll kind of save that towards the end. But what I will say is, like, I actually have an old video. Like, it was literally the third video that I ever made on YouTube that I think that I would like to share tonight because it opens up really good to the article that I'll be discussing. So if you guys don't mind, yes, active denial system. I actually have something in my old terrible Fringe video about that before I ever went live or cared to show my face or even speak. I made a little video, and I know that some of the people that have been around for a long time miss the videos that I used to make. Trust me, if I can find some more time in my schedule, I would love to start pumping those out again. They do take quite a bit of time, though, and I felt like it would be great to open up with the video just because it's so perfect with what's going on. And before we even decide to get into that, remember we are sponsored by Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Exchange. So if you feel the need to get your hands on some precious metals, please feel free to contact Tony. And if you're on the fence about things and you want to ask some questions to somebody that has some knowledge, feel free to talk to either me or Tony about that. In some areas, as far as history and things goes, he's way more knowledgeable than I am on certain areas. And then there's some, like if you have a question about a certain mintage or you're looking at a very specific coin, I've got plenty of resources to get to and be able to gather some info for you. What happened to the other channel, Fringe? Well, Hopinson? I think I'm saying that right. I remember seeing you on the other channel. We actually got banned for 90 days. A whole 90 days. Apparently, I did one thing wrong, which is a copyright strike. It was my first copyright strike. It was from a video that was probably about 4 or 5 months old, and they decided to hit that video. So I can't go live on that channel for quite a while. But if you are missing, if it's too much for you to hop channels, normally I record these and I actually put them up on the main channel as a premiere so we can all kind of hang out and chat together. So I still try to do that. I forgot to do that last night. But I did hit the record button tonight. So if anybody does miss out, it will be premiering on the main channel sometime later tonight. So again, if you feel the need to get your hands on precious metals, Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Exchange is the place to go. Still beating out the big box stores that you would normally go and buy from. So there you go. There's my shameless plug. And I'm actually, I'm supposed to be going and seeing Tony on Monday. So hopefully that'll give me the opportunity to go in and be able to buy just a little bit for myself as well. Because shit just doesn't look so great right now. So it makes me feel at least a little bit more secure. Now we're going to get to the old Fringe video. Now guys, this video is, it's just over 10 minutes long, but bear with me because it just holds so true and well to the article that we're going to get into next, okay? I literally called it 5G, Revolution in Technology or Trojan Horse. You can decide, but I'm going to guess most of us think it's kind of that Trojan horse, right?
The government, the schools, you name it.
The race is on to develop newer, faster cellular networks.
5G is the next generation of wireless service.
Some companies are already touting 5G systems that will be up and running in certain cities next year.
We want to really be able to show the scale of 5G and the impact that it'll have on people across all the applications.
The promise is to connect nearly every aspect of our lives over an incredibly fast, reliable wireless network.
We will literally have hundreds of megahertz of bandwidth to deliver the full suite of services of 5G.
Companies are spending billions to make sure they aren't left behind. What is 5G? First, there was 1G, the network those early bulky cell phones worked on. Second generation added the ability to send text messages, pictures too, hello emojis. But then enter 3G. It basically turned our cell phones into mini internet-connected computers. And 4G made them fast enough to stream all the cat videos you could ever want. 5G takes it even one step further and about 100 times faster.
We'll literally have over 1,000 cell sites up and operating. I have never seen a technology that will be more disruptive than 5G. It'll map what's going on 100 miles ahead of you. The consumer just needs to sit back and enjoy the ride.
5G fifth generation.
Hold on, don't you love that? The consumer just needs to sit back and enjoy the ride. Oh my, like he literally said that. Just sit back and enjoy the ride. It's cool. You know, 5G isn't dangerous. It's whatever.
Technology promises faster download speeds and conveniences that most of us have never dreamed of, but will also be blanketed with a new type of radiation called millimeter waves. Health experts are warning about the rising risks with a 5G rollout.
5G won't just be another number and letter on your cell phone. It requires an entirely new infrastructure of thousands of small cellular antennas to be erected throughout cities where it's going to be installed.
Current public exposure levels are at least 1 quintillion, that's 18 zeros, 1 quintillion times above natural background radiation, according to Professor Olle Johansson of the Karolinska Institute in Sweden.
Wireless radiation has biological effects, period. This is no longer a subject for debate when you look at PubMed and the peer-reviewed literature. These effects are seen in all life forms: plants, animals, insects, microbes. In humans, we have clear evidence of cancer now. We have evidence of DNA damage, cardiomyopathy, which is the precursor of congestive heart failure, neuropsychiatric effects. So 5G is not a conversation about whether or not these biological effects exist. They clearly do.
5G is designed to deliver concentrated and focused electromagnetic radiation in excess of 100 times current levels in the same way as do directed energy weapons.
Notice she just brought up the directed energy weapons, and here in just a moment, they're actually also going to talk about what powers these heat ray guns. It's called an active denial system. It's the same exact thing. And then it kind of makes you wonder, okay, this is why Verizon was so quick, or AT&T was so quick in signing the military up with these kinds of things. It's not just a matter of being able to communicate. These are actually weapons as well. Now, the cell towers that you'll have around you, the normal 5G gigahertz range, is not exactly right there with what these systems will do, but they have the potential to be turned up or even target specific people, places, and these energies can be used in some crazy sci-fi type ways, guys.
We're looking at exploring the capabilities that directed energy has to offer against
5G technologies must be subjected to an independent health and safety assessment before they are launched anywhere in the world.
The CDC, tracking these epidemics, we need to start measuring how much radiation are people being exposed to before we roll out 5G.
The highly dangerous biological effects of EMFs have been documented by thousands of studies since 1932.
We've been sitting on the evidence for EMR and chronic disease for decades.
We may be facing a global health catastrophe orders of magnitude worse than those caused by tobacco and cigarettes.
There are 4 kinds of electromagnetic fields that we know are harmful to human health. So radio frequency radiation, magnetic fields, dirty electricity, and electric fields.
There is currently an international appeal signed by 237 EMF scientists from 41 nations, urging the UN and particularly the WHO to exert strong leadership in fostering the development of more protective EMF guidelines, encouraging precautionary measures and
Let me pause this for a moment. She's talking about more precautionary measures against EMF guidelines and things like this. Did you guys know that in other countries, they actually have these protections and realize that, it's cool to have technology, but there should be a bit of safety around it. The US they don't give a shit. You get a small warning label inside of the cell phone that you'll never see, and people think that it's safe. The warning is there. They just don't make it easy to find.
educating the public about the considerable health risks, particularly the risks to children and fetal development.
Our given exposure has nothing to do with the research that my colleagues are going to cite. The National Toxicology Program. That is an assessment of the risk of one cell phone in the near field. What is our exposure? It's not one cell phone. It's cell phones, it's multiple wireless networks, it's smart meters, it's cell towers. It's this sandwich, and it all adds up.
There will be thousands of these antennas that will have to be every 200 yards or so in order for 5G to work, because it uses shorter frequencies. They're higher and they don't go as far. So in order for 5G to work, you need literally to have one next to your house.
This is a serious problem for occupational health, public safety, and personal safety. And I feel that it's irresponsible to be even talking about the Internet of Things and rolling out a new untested technology when we're not even measuring what are our current exposures from the current network.
California firefighters were investigated for their brains because they were complaining of abnormalities in their brains, and they had PET scans that showed that they did have damage in their brains from having antennas close.
Stop any rollout of 5G immediately. The situation here is extremely dangerous.
I got interested in electromagnetic fields after my administrator at the University of Miami gave me a new iPhone. I used it for 20 minutes on speaker, and my finger was burning at the end of the call.
Don't keep the phone in your pants pocket. Make the bra a no cell phone zone. Don't give kids phones to use except in emergencies.
Notice nowadays, it's not just high schoolers and middle schoolers with cell phones. You have 3-year-olds constantly playing on tablets. Not only is that damaging their eyes, but you have to wonder, they're so tiny and the tablet is so large. I actually have I don't want to mess anything up, but think about it. The tablet that they're using is probably about the size of something like this. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but it's pretty large, right? So you got to think it's pretty considerable given the size of a small toddler. How many internal organs, and there's so much unfound science, but there's enough science there to say this is probably pretty dangerous. And we have literally babies sitting in front of these devices, constantly playing on them and being just submerged in different forms of radiation. That can't be good.
The National Toxicology Program shows clear evidence of cardiomyopathy in that study. In other words, that's a precursor to congestive heart failure.
Here's what we do know from scientists who worked for the Defense Agency. The 5G signal gets about 1/64th of an inch into the skin. No, it's nothing, except if you have a latent melanoma waiting to grow, or any other abnormality on the skin, the largest organ.
So diabetes and heart failure are linked with EMF exposures. It's very clear.
The Defense Department currently has a weapon that uses the same microwave exposure. That weapon, when it's blasted at you at a higher power, makes your skin feel like it's on fire. The sensation dissipates when you move out of the beam, so it's for crowd control.
At this point,
that's actually what we're going to be talking about in the article after this video is done. The active denial systems work on the same frequencies, and it literally feels like someone just shoved your body into a microwave or into the oven. It gets so hot, and they say that it doesn't cause any long-term damage, but if you think about it, would you be willing to risk throwing yourself into some sort of microwave? I don't think so. There would be some damage there.
There's a national and international 5G appeal. I don't know how many thousands of people have signed.
You have no control over where 5G antennas get put.
Levels of microwave radiation today are trillions of times higher than they were even 50 years ago. 5G transmitters will radiate 24 hours a day and so close to homes it will be difficult, if not impossible, to avoid constant exposure. And
get a corded landline and insist that we have corded land phones for safety and for security. Landlines are safe, they're more secure, they can't be hacked as easy.
The major symptoms include insomnia, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, mood disorders, poor short-term memory, difficulty concentrating, depression, heart palpitations that are interpreted as anxiety. Symptoms also include skin problems, dizziness, nosebleeds, elevated blood sugar, and in extreme cases, loss of consciousness.
At home, connect.
So, guys, just listen to that. You've heard about congestive heart failure, heart disease, diabetes, anxiety, mental disorders, look at the list of what's wrong with America and our health issues, right? This is where I say it's not just the vaccines, it's not just the food, it's not just your water, it's not just the air, and it's not just the RF or EMF that's out there. It is everything that is sandwiched together. You wonder how the hell most of these kids are even making it. You know, and you see a lot of kids today and they just look tired. They look drained. And it's not that normal drainage of, oh, you've just been on the playground all day. No, it is literally, they don't have the proper nutrition. Most people are over medicated, and then you just lace yourself in all of these different frequencies. It's not natural. Now, I'm not saying to get rid of everything completely. There is a time and place for everything, right? But to be absolutely oversaturated in all of these things, you shouldn't think twice on why the American people are so unhealthy, especially compared to other countries out there. There are literally people in third world countries. You would be surprised. They're actually healthier than we are. That's insane to think about.
With wires. Ethernet connections can go into almost any device you have.
Microwave frequencies are also shown in scientific studies to contribute to cancer and to damage sperm.
Cell phone radiation study finds more questions than answers. We still don't know if cell phones cause cancer or not. Updated study, still inconclusive. New studies don't eliminate uncertainty. That's what you get when you spend hundreds of millions of dollars this past decade on PR. You get the manufacturing of doubt.
Scientists and medical doctors across the United States and in the United Kingdom are requesting delayed deployment until testing can be conducted on the long-term biological effects of 5G technology.
We don't even know exactly what 5G is going to be, because those antennas that they're putting out now that look like this that I showed you, they're not really 5G. They're not. They're 3 and 4G, but they're the infrastructure that can become 5G. Do you understand? They're building it so that you can turn it on and you can make it into 5G. You can have 1,000 antennas in a few square inches, and nobody can tell you what it means exactly.
The federal government has failed to protect us from the rising levels of microwaves. I would encourage provincial ministers to request at the very least that the federal government adopt a precautionary approach to 5G.
This issue is complicated, and its complexity makes it very easy to manufacture doubt. Technology has saved lives, but we have to make sure it's not going to ruin the quality of our life for the long run.
The scientific debate about the health effects of microwave radiation is over. Microwave radiation levels to which we are currently exposed is adversely affecting human health. Of that, there is no doubt.
We have no evidence up front that this novel technology is safe.
Until we better understand the consequences of this technology, we need to know the true costs of 5G before we can assess its potential benefit.
Increases in use of personal wireless devices are concurrent with a rise in brain tumors that are associated with cell phones.
The most prevalent symptoms include headache, fatigue, decreased ability to concentrate, tinnitus, irritability, and insomnia. Impacts on the heart and the nervous system are also of great concern.
If you're wondering how this could have happened, it was predicted years ago by the cell phone companies themselves. On the C4ST website, you can find links to the warnings published by the manufacturers of the cell phones in all of your pockets right now. All of them advise you not to touch it while using it, and some specifically say not to carry it in a breast pocket.
Listen to that. Don't touch it while, I don't even have my cell phone in here right now, but don't touch it while you use it. And you see that people are constantly wrapped in, like, they can't get away from it. It's always in the pocket. It's in a bra somewhere. And think about that. All these athletic clothing gear that's kind of like pushed towards women that are out there, it always wants you to have that cell phone like in, you know, the area of your boobs. It wants to have it somewhere. There's little pockets that are right in front of your ovaries. I hate to say this kind of stuff, guys. And for guys that are out there, you know, constantly, at least put it in the back pocket so it's literally not zapping your balls. I mean, think about that kind of stuff.
Or near the abdomen of a pregnant woman or a teenager. Unfortunately, those warnings are so small or buried inside the settings of your phone that most people never see them.
Male infertility is also on the rise, while we learn that sperm and testes are harmed by cell phones in pocket and laptops on laps.
We can't pretend that the convenience of having this technology is without cost, especially when the manufacturers of every cell phone are already admitting the danger in fine print.
This most aggressive type of brain tumor is increasing in young Americans, and it has outpaced leukemia and testicular cancer. We're seeing changes.
The World Health Organization lists all radiofrequency radiation as a possible carcinogen.
Wireless radiation affects prenatal development in animals and in humans.
We should not allow companies to introduce new chemicals without them first being tested for the possibility of carcinogenicity. There is every reason why such a requirement should be placed on companies that propose to introduce new radiation which will expose all of them.
Just as we are witnessing rapid increases in diagnoses of developmental disorders such as autism spectrum.
Prolonged exposure to radiofrequency radiation increases the risk of cancer.
Children are much more vulnerable, but we allow widespread use of Wi-Fi and wireless devices in their schools, even in junior kindergarten.
This sort of radiation increases the damage to our DNA. And if
Wireless radiation can affect basic biochemistry and affect many organs.
our DNA is damaged, then our risk of cancer increases substantially.
The bottom line is that it takes decades for any new substance or technology to cause enough harm that it's finally proven dangerous.
Listen to that, because that really is so important. Whenever we're looking at real science and you want very good data, it does take a number of years to realize how dangerous something can be. And whenever we think about technology and the way that we're moving forward today, as I was just saying the other day, every single day we are advancing technology. We're adding more into our homes and into our lives. If you think, like, I hate this the most, I'll call my mom or dad and they will talk to me through the Bluetooth on their car. I don't even care to buy a car that has Bluetooth in it. I don't care. I don't even care if my car has a freaking screen in it. So if you think about it, everything, every step that we take is just being more and more saturated in this kind of stuff. And this was important, what she was saying, is because how are we to have accurate data? This is what makes it so easy for the large companies to be able to push everything under the rug and go, oh, well, it's just coincidence, right? Right.
IARC, the International Agency for Research on Cancer, were to re-evaluate radiofrequency radiation, it would be placed in Class 1.
And it also accelerates the growth of bacteria and viruses, 5G. We know that.
We must do our best to prevent the introduction of 5G, which will only make matters worse.
Well, here's what I want to say. I'm a scientist, I'm a toxicologist studying animals, and an epidemiologist studying people, and I'm a grandmother. Do you really expect me to experiment on my grandkids? Do you really want to tell me that you're not sure if this is safe, so let's go ahead and have every child in every school be using iPads and sit down in a circle with them on their bodies, unaware that you're radiating your future grandchildren right there?
These are new frequencies that have been never tested for their long-term biological and health effects. Millimeter waves are currently being used in airport scanners and by the U.S. military as a form of crowd control.
We're witnessing an unprecedented pace of change, the rise of wireless technology in our lives. We're also starting to witness a rise in a broad range of illnesses and conditions that could all be related to wireless technology.
Here we are going again into a new technology without any knowledge of what this might mean on health effects. So we need to evaluate if 5G, for example, increases the risk of skin diseases such as melanoma or epithelioma.
Even if the risk for individuals is low, it is widely distributed and could become a major public health problem. And the precautionary principle, which I know we're going to discuss.
Oh, we got an ad. I didn't even know that was monetized. All right, well, that was basically done, so we can be done with that. And I just wanted to play that before we get into this. Military confirms it sought information on using heat ray against DC protesters. Now, guys, this isn't necessarily anything new. It's technology that our military has had for quite a long time. But whenever you think about the fact, this is to me, it's just amazing how people can't exactly put this together. Or maybe they just trust in their government a little too much. We just learned, in case that you didn't know, we just heard from about 8 different scientists and doctors, epidemiologists, right? Heat ray, active denial system, uses the same millimeter wavelengths that 5G can go up to. Now, that doesn't mean that literally the tower that's right next to your house or on top of a school is pumping this out right at the moment. It's still pumping out a very dangerous frequency, and it seems to be that the most science that we can gather right now, the first place that you're going to see it is skin cancer being a huge issue. What's interesting about these millimeter wavelengths, see, 4G can actually pass through the body very easily. And 5G, it's difficult. This is why it's so hard for them to get 5G everywhere, because like me living out in the woods, they would need to put several transmitters, I think is what they call it. They would have to put several transmitters from, the main city all the way down the road, all the way down here until you get one into my house. And you're literally thinking every couple of feet they would do something like this. So most of what you have right now is not true 5G. Like my little sister has a new 5G phone, and they have 5G in most of the cities now. In reality, they're just pumping up 4G. Like your 4G can go even higher and be faster, and they're probably going to slow a lot of us down to push you towards getting that 5G as if you need it. Remember when they were phasing out 3G, boom, your phone just stopped working and it was all about 4G. They're going to do the same thing again. And you just have to wonder if one day, yes, they could use what is on that cell tower the same way that they use this now. Right? Oh, I'm just seeing some interesting stuff in chat. I feel violated with this technology, as you should. Warnings of lead and mercury contamination in our drinking water tables were given decades ago, but people have ignored them and MSM doesn't cover it anymore. Exactly. And the only time that they want to bring something like this up is if they can make more money out of the outcome, or if they finally just want to bring up an issue that'll actually never be resolved because they just want to turn it into political theater. And Yeshua, exactly. Agenda 21, full throttle. It's not just, he said, she said, oh, I watched this little person on YouTube and, that's where I get, it's not that anymore. This is all out in the open, but nobody seems to care. Nobody seems to care. Why is that? Oh, it's so interesting. And notice here, all of their shields say military police. So even though we're not under martial law, we're under martial law. Okay? There are some places that are under martial law. So listen to this. Now, this actually came out, I think, 2 days ago. A spokesperson for Joint Forces Headquarters Command in Washington, D.C., confirmed to NPR that hours before federal police officers cleared a crowded park near the White House with smoke and tear gas on June 1st, a military police staff officer asked the D.C. National Guard had a kind of heat ray weapon that might be deployed against demonstrators in the nation's capital. Oh. So Robert Phillips, a spokesperson for the Joint Force Headquarters National Capital Region, said the inquiry, wow, I cannot speak tonight, was made as a matter of due diligence and prudent military planning. The command inquired informally about capabilities across the full spectrum of non-lethal systems to include the long-range acoustic device LRAD. Somebody did mention that in chat, so good for you. Like, you're on top of it. And active denial systems ADS. Phillips told NPR in a written statement he does not possess these systems, did not request such systems, and no further action was taken as a result of the officer's email query. It goes on to say this statement comes hours after NPR obtained and published written responses to the House Committee on Natural Resources from somewhere, Major Adam DeMarco of the D.C. National Guard, who revealed he had been copied on an email from the Provost Marshal and Joint Force Headquarters. The email said the top military police officer in D.C. was looking for two things: a long-range acoustic device, a kind of sound cannon known as LRAD. Those are annoying as hell. Somebody brought up MK Ultra earlier, and I'm sure the LRAD was spawned out of MK Ultra because some sounds can be pretty annoying. Some sounds that you can't even hear can actually damage the body. And a device called the active denial system. Now, the active denial system is the one that really harnesses those millimeter waves, right? It uses a frequency. It's basically like pointing a laser microwave at you, and it makes your skin feel like it's on fire. Now, I actually don't mind the military having weapons like this. I understand that out on the battlefield, things are getting stronger. Technology is increasing every single day, and not everything is won with bullets, right? So what kind of freaks me out is the fact that you know that there's a lot of these kinds of things set up in major cities. It's very easy to take them wherever the vehicles are sitting at and put it into a city setting. Now, is this the way to go for crowd control? I don't necessarily think so. It seems like a really good idea, right? But if we let them use something like the active denial system, whether you hate Antifa or you're right best friends with them, it does not matter. If we take this step, what's the net? You know, it just goes further and further and further from here. So I would kind of like to know what you guys think about it, because it's not, obviously it's not the most lethal thing. But I mean, if you hit somebody that had heart problems or some other condition that you didn't know about by accident, you know, what if you missed your target? Which these things are really smart. There's not a good chance of you missing your target. That's another scary thing to think about, is putting systems, not just like the ADS in control of AI, but almost anything in control of AI should scare the crap out of you, you know? Yes, DEWs work in space. We also have them on naval ships. They are on airplanes, and DEW systems can even, those are direct energy weapons, guys. I think that we even have some that are small enough to be able to fit on some larger military vehicles. I don't know if they could necessarily fit on top of a Humvee, so to say, but there are some vehicles out there that are strapped with DEW weapons. Oh, what if you have a pacemaker? See, good question. If you're just an innocent person, you know, just trying to get home from work and you get caught up in a protest, what happens if they hit you with that, right? Yikes. Yikes. Now we can move on from this news. I wanted to do a throwback video for you guys, because I actually do, I know I don't talk about this stuff every day. You know, some of my older videos might actually be my better videos because I can really get into some detail on things. I love listening to what real scientists, doctors, epidemiologists, I love to hear what these people have to say, because obviously they have the degrees. They went to school for a long time. And I know oftentimes I shit on that kind of stuff, guys, but you know, if you worked that hard and you're going against the grain and nobody wants to listen to you, I want to listen, because it is important to me. So just some nerdy little tidbits about my life, as I actually read a lot about what these scientists and people have to say. Now we can move on a little bit. Rumor is Ruth died, but HRC told her not to concede. Oh. How many other people here think that she has been dead for a while? Like, they've just been keeping it hidden. Yeah, good luck with that. Richard says you could sue the government, but yeah, they would just like wrap it up to be like, oh, this old guy was with Antifa and he deserved it. All right, so Ruth Ginsburg, Supreme Court Justice and liberal icon, dies at 87. I don't know, guys. I feel like she could have been dead for a while. Either way, she just wasn't in the position to be a Supreme Court judge anymore. You know, There has to be limits put on this kind of stuff. There really does. Does that not scare you? How long she had cancer, how old some of these people get, and they stay in power? All right, so Ruth was the second woman appointed to the Supreme Court whose unwavering fight for women's rights and social justice made her an icon to many admirers of the court's liberal wing. She died Friday. She was 87 years old. You know, the really interesting thing about this is whenever I decided to actually pull this up online, I saw that the news had actually been reported about 10 hours ago, but for some reason, a ton of us just found out on Twitter and they just started pumping out articles on it. So that was kind of weird. She did die at her home in Washington, D.C. due to complications of metastatic cancer, which I thought she beat. I thought she was over it, getting healthy again. It seems like it just must have rapidly came back, or they were literally keeping her alive until they wanted her dead. So to continue, according to a statement from the Supreme Court, she was surrounded by family. So she was treated with chemotherapy in 2020 for a reoccurrence of pancreatic cancer, first treated in 2009 that spread to her liver and had 4 prior cancer diagnoses. That's insane. And for any of you that have been around people that have had to do chemotherapy before, you know that this puts you in a really tired state. It can affect your mental state. It can affect all kinds of things. So you have to wonder, why was she even still a part of the Supreme Court? That's insane. That's insane. Oh. Let's see. Do they have anything else that was really important? It's amazing how many times that she's had cancer. It just shows you how long you can go on for if you've really got the money and the connections, right? So, there we go. I'm not sure many of us care to really dive into this. It's not like she was our hero. But you know what was actually interesting to me, and I'd covered this a little while ago. Just like a week ago, this was the headline news. Trump's Supreme Court list, president reveals names of 20 more people he'd consider nominating. So that list included GOP Senators Ted Cruz, Tom Cotton, Josh Hawley. Like, I had literally just talked about this, and I didn't even think about the fact that, is there a reason that it was pushed out? And that's why I'm saying, were they literally keeping Ginsburg alive or not telling us she was dead until a certain point? Also, double check me. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the Senate is trying to move as quickly as possible to replace her. So it sounds like they're going to try to get this done before the election, but I just don't know how that's even possible. I mean, maybe it is, but I don't know. And now we have some more TikTok and WeChat news. It will be banned from U.S. app stores on Sunday. So coming Sunday, if you just really felt the need to get to TikToking and WeChatting, you got to download the app before Sunday. All right? TikTok and WeChat will be banned from U.S. app stores starting on Sunday, September 20th. The U.S. Department of Commerce, DOC, has announced the Chinese-owned apps from Tencent and ByteDance. Guys, Tencent. I encourage you to actually go in and look into that company. I think I have another old video, something about who you can't speak about. It was based more on China, but Tencent has a ton to do with that, because you would be surprised at how much of your life or your kid's life revolves around Tencent. That's a company I encourage you to look into if you want to find the names of some billionaires and possibly even trillionaire type people that you've never heard of. Look into that company. So, the Chinese-owned apps from Tencent and ByteDance will not only be banned from the iOS app stores and Google Play Store on Sunday, but companies will be barred from hosting them in the U.S. starting November 12th. This is so interesting because I thought that there was a partnership deal. So, this is kind of weird. And I thought that since Oracle was going to get on that partnership deal, that it would make it more possible. But I don't know. It sounds like maybe there's a possibility a company could just come out and outright buy TikTok. So I have no idea. Let's see, where am I? The move was taken at the president's direction, according to Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross. Today's actions prove once again that President Trump will do everything in his power to guarantee our national security and protect Americans from the threats of the Chinese Communist Party, he said in a statement. The CCP has demonstrated the means and motives to use these apps to threaten the national security, foreign policy, and the economy of the U.S. Doesn't it sound like they're getting you ready? The war drums are going. They let you know, hey, China and Russia has these new weapons in space, and they've got these satellites that could basically burst out an EMP and just destroy everything. And now they're going to wreck the economy, and we've got a national security risk. Oh yeah, you're prime. You've been primed. Not saying I like China, but you've definitely been trained to hate them more for reasons like you don't come up with yourself. They just kind of spout them out on the media, right? So the app ban has come despite a possible partnership between Oracle and ByteDance. Yesterday, Trump said that he didn't like that deal, according to Bloomberg, while adding that he was not prepared to sign off on anything. The DOC's wording makes clear that it wants the apps to disappear in the U.S. It has not only banned the apps, code, and updates, but any payments associated with WeChat by November 12th is also prohibited. So that's a really interesting one, because I think that there's like a lot of American business people, like whenever you're getting stuff from, whenever you're getting like inventory or whatever from China, I think that a lot of them, like if you were to go and look on Alibaba or, let's see, sometimes like Wish.com, some of the other like Chinese sites that are out there, I think a lot of them will like make deals with you through WeChat. Now I can't be like positive on that, but that's like what I know about it. You know? Yeah, basically like that's all I really know about that. Okay, guys, so that's the news that I had today. I'm not doing a very good job at keeping our streams at just 30 minutes. We've gone on for 48 minutes now. So, can Americans trade on Binance? What do you mean? We've been able to trade on Binance, Rob. When were we not allowed to trade on Binance? You can. You can. I'm pretty sure. Richard says things are heating up, Fringe, and the fire has just been turned up with the death of Ginsburg. Yeah, and isn't it... Guys, hold on. Isn't it kind of weird that Bill Gates, Sir or Senior, died the same week as Ginsburg? I don't think that there's actually like any connection there, but you're talking about two insanely powerful people just being knocked off, right? And yes, we do have Orwellian censorship. So yeah, there's like two people out there that you really can't talk about, and that's your Zionist overlords and the CCP or China. Oh, well, Scan Family, thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right, guys. They die in threes. Oh, Ludlow, you're so right. Who's next? Was there somebody that we missed? There's going to be somebody. You know there's going to be somebody else. And how much, like, what kind of window are we looking at here? Do we have, like, till October? Is it some sort of weird ritual going on before we get into October? I don't really know, but that's a very good point, Ludlow. They die in threes. Ooh. I didn't think about that. Oh my god. Okay. Well, guys, I am going to go ahead and try to get out of here. I'm doing my best to conserve data, but I'm not doing a great job. So, you know what? I will see you guys tomorrow. Or I'll do my best to see you tomorrow. I'm going to have a busy day, but I'm pretty sure I'll make it on. So, I love you guys. Thanks for all of the support. And again, look out for who's next. That's a very good point, Ludlow. Give me just a moment. I'll get some music for you guys. There we go.
No. I waited for your go ahead, but you were still on to everything and nothing. Oh, your head stuck in another land, making all these other plans. I'm trying to break you out of Trying to get through to you, break and make you follow everything you wanted. Go, just see how far you really come. Wake up, baby, feel the sun.